Bit of a newer intro today. Today is a Friday. On Fridays, I go to this farm. On this farm, they have the best strawberries in the world, the best lettuce in the world, the best produce in general in the world. So today, I'll take you along with me because day in the life, right? For this video, maybe we'll title it What a Model Does on Fridays. This is like a very impromptu field setup. Usually the tables are spread out. Usually the canopies are spread out. But sometimes when you're given pocket aces, you just don't say anything and you let it be. This would be a really good spot, now that I think about it, to have some crayons, some stickers. All we're missing right now is the crayons, the stickers, and maybe some face paint, because this would be this is the perfect setup for all that jazz.
Yeah, I had my little event thing yesterday.
How'd that go?
It was super fun. I forgot to put these in water.
We'll do this like this today, and then tomorrow we could put it back, but I want to try this. I want to see how people react to this.
Yeah.
Because this is a very communal, inviting, like, I imagine people sitting down. They're like, oh, hey, my son, he's playing in San Clemente tomorrow. Oh, great. Like, maybe we'll play you guys. That is probably going to be the talk of the town right here. Or like, oh, I'm going to go to F45. We should go to F45 together. And we could put one of them Johns, like right here, over there. Awesome. So everyone liked it yesterday? I thought yesterday I was on social media, there was this thing that people were showing. They worked somewhere, and it was the administrators who were running the social media. So I was like, man, what would that look like on South Coast Farms' Instagram or TikTok page? TikTok more specifically. If it was us who had previously had zero experience working on a farm, who had no idea how 90% of any of this ever worked, but sat in front of the camera and individually gave a monologue, so to say, of just, hey, you know what, this is month 3 of me working on this farm. Here's some things that I learned that I previously was not privy to. How would people interact with that kind of content? There was that family that came by, and it seemed like they were so interested in knowing how much money was being transacted per day. And we had talked about this before.
People like money.
People want to know, on a farm like this, beyond the money, how many pounds? Because that's the question we were asking, was how many pounds of strawberries are going to be sold today on this farm? Because the reality is that it's going to be closer to 100 than it is going to be to 200.
Yeah.
So there's two different forms of content there. You have the kind where it's like, all right, mini guessing game, how many strawberries are going to be sold? But then you also have the kind of content where it's like, I'm not going to say that Demi's a farmer. I'm also not going to say that Jacob's a farmer. But what I am going to say is that I spend time on a farm. And what I am going to say is that there are things that I've seen that if I wasn't on a farm, I don't know if I would have ever have seen. And so that's the part where it's, would George or Rebecca care that we essentially give our perspective of like what goes on here?
Thanks. I feel like they'd be fine with it as long as we're saying positive things.
Right.
And not like, yeah, the money thing's always weird. Like, I don't know about the money side of things, but otherwise.
The only reason I'd say anything at all is because it's...
Do you have the packet where that fork came out of?
Oh, it's right here.
Oh, thanks.
For me, if I'm gonna speak up and open my mouth, it's because it's gonna be something positive. Mm-hmm. So with that regard, I would keep it PG and positive. I just wonder how people, because when I think about content on a farm, there's posting strawberries and then there's posting ladybugs. But then when is there someone like on a tractor talking about, like I can imagine this, and I imagine the phone recording George in his tractor, mm-hmm. and him showing that he's tilling the field, and then you could see him talk, but then you also see him moving on the tractor. But then my version of that would be me sitting here with the scale in front of me and the iPad here, being like, look, working on a farm, you get people from all walks of life. And the reality is that the strawberries don't care who you voted for, and they don't care how much money you make. Mm-hmm. The strawberries are good, and when you come down this little row right here, you're just a little 5-year-old running through a strawberry field. Because the same thing happens to people. Every time they show up and they get a box, they come over here and they say the same thing. Oh, well, that was so much fun. I didn't realize how many I picked. It's the same story every time. Mm-hmm. And like that to me is like, that's where on TikTok, like I would explain that. Like, oh, working on a farm, I didn't realize that the inner child was going to come out of literally every single person, regardless of their age, their demographic, their occupation. Mm-hmm. The same visceral, like, oh, I put my head down and I picked it up, and when I looked at my box, I had $45 worth of strawberries that I knew that I couldn't just like go return. Because like that's also like a big part of the logic here is like you touch, you buy. Mm-hmm. You go to Marshall's or you go to Target, you pick something up, you put in your cart, you could very easily be in the towel section and take out a Lego and just be like, no questions asked. Can't do that here. Mm-hmm.
We were really shocked. That family yesterday that came, it was $75. And they were like, what? Like, you guys picked a lot of strawberries.
And that's the reality of it. And that's the side that you have to work here to understand that that's a conversation that's being had. Mm-hmm. You go to the grocery store and people know that there's a basket of strawberries and it's $6.99. They don't care how much it weighs. They don't know any idea of how ripe the fruit is. They don't know where it came from. They don't know who picked it. They don't know any of that stuff. But yeah, you could pay $8. You know, I haven't seen someone bring an empty clamshell of strawberries from like Trader Joe's. But they could very easily come do that. Mm-hmm. Interesting. Huh. So yeah, here's story time, and Demi's just going to be the witness to this. I was at the beach the other day. Guess where I went?
San Clemente?
Strand.
Okay.
It was my second time ever getting in the water there. I didn't know that people would actually do this. Did you know that they put sticks into the ground to separate where people can surf and where people can swim? Mm-hmm. I had no idea that they did that.
Only like this time of year, in the summer now.
So I was in the surf part of the beach, and I didn't even know that this was like a thing that would have ever have been a thought in my mind. But when I was in the water, because I wear this hat, oceanography, right? I realized what an oceanographer does is they study water. They essentially study the tides and the different ecosystems within like reefs and things of that sort. So I show up to the beach. I'm standing there looking at like, okay, that's a riptide, that's a left, that's a right. And then I'm like analyzing, okay, what makes a beach a beach? In San Clemente, why do they have rocky beaches?
Coastal erosion.
So then so I'm putting two together. I'm thinking to myself, okay, there is a railroad track there, and if the waves are here, oh, so that's why the stairs, because in Calafia, the stairs are eroded. But at Strand, it's like a white sand beach where the tide, the wave breaks and then the wave runs.
But in the summer, it gets really sandy like that. In the winter, it's all rocks. All the sand gets stripped away in the winter, and then it comes back in the summer.
The more you know. So when was this? Last Tuesday or something like that. It might have been Monday or Tuesday. It was Monday. I'm standing there in the water. And that same thing I told you about earlier, that like the strawberries don't care what occupation you have. They don't care where you're from. I realized like, dang, like the ocean loves everybody. Like the ocean treats everyone the same. And then the way like I interpreted that was like essentially just love yourself. The next day I went to the beach, and I went to the beach that I had grown up going to, Newport Beach. I'm in the water. I'm like, dang, that thing I learned yesterday is so true. You know why? Because we're buoyant. And what does the ocean want us to do? Flow. So I was, from one day, realizing like, okay, it's essentially, like, why would I, as like a person, use my time and energy or my thoughts to be thinking of something negative or thinking of something in an insecure way when I could spend the same amount of time thinking a happy or a feeling good thought, and then it carried over to the next day because I was at the beach realizing, wait, that's so true. The ocean would want somebody to have another breath or another chance or another opportunity. That's why it's so, what's the word? It has salt. Salinity is like the concept of it. But what's the, like the water has salt in it. Okay, the water's salty. We'll just say it that way. And because it is like that, we flow, which means that the ocean is literally giving us another chance to like be buoyant, aka have another breath. So tying Monday, Tuesday together, and the strawberry field together, I'm also tying in something. This is a question I ask my parents all the time. I ask them, I say, do you think it's possible to always be happy? So let me ask you, do you think it's possible to always be happy?
I think life is supposed to have its ups and downs, because the bad times make you more grateful for the good times.
Just like how there's a wave, and then there will be like the calm, and then another wave.
Mm-hmm.
I'm tying it all in together because the strawberries there or over there, they're like guaranteed to look the same, but then the fruit that comes out, it'll be different every time. Like the fact that it buds and then there's that white thing, and then it turns into a green thing, and then the green thing turns into a red thing. That's a guarantee. So in my mind, I'd say that it's definitely possible to always be happy, just in the same way that if a human goes into the ocean, they're guaranteed to float. That's my story of the day.
So in middle school, my English teacher, really weird dude, he would always tell us about his one brother who like didn't float, like he would sink instead of float for whatever reason. I don't know why, it's so random. But I don't know why he would tell us that, but for some reason, whatever was wrong with his brother, he they'd not float like a normal person, and was maybe more dense or something. I don't know. Which is really strange because I've never heard that before. Maybe he was just making that up to like be weird, but
You know what I'm now thinking about? How do free divers dive?
weight belts. That actually, that belt there and that over there, those are diving belts.
Right, but like, say you're in the pool. Like, how do we as people be like, you know what, I'm just gonna defy the concept of buoyancy for about 20 seconds here?
Exhale. Because your lungs, when they're filled with air, like think about when you hold your breath, you're breathing in and your lungs are full of air, so it helps keep you afloat.
Okay.
Versus if you exhale, you'll sink because you don't have that air in your body.
Now I want to go rent a jet ski, go like a mile into the ocean, dive as far as I can down, but hold my breath the entire time. Because we could do that. Like that's the part about being human that's like,
I used to do that in the pool. Like you'd like hold your breath and sit there and float, and then like exhale and watch yourself like slowly sink.
I've never done that before. Man, that's a shower thought and a half. Why is it that people, when they still have air in them, but no weights, how is it that they could go deeper into the water and like stay there? Because I'm thinking, like, I go put some fins on and I put my scuba mask on and I have a snorkel. I could very easily just go down 10 meters and then sit there and be like, and then choose to exhale and then go up.
Density.
I wonder why that is. So, story of the day number 2 is that you were essentially the first person to tell me, well, actually, my sister was. She would say, Jacob, can you just download TikTok so that when I send you a TikTok, you don't have to go on Google Chrome and then push that you're as the desktop view and then do the CAPTCHA. And then Demi told me, she said, you're going to have to download TikTok because the farm, we use TikTok on the farm. Prior to me having had re-downloaded TikTok, I didn't have TikTok on my phone for a whole year. My TikTok before, like 2023, was full of just like the most FYP things of just like every big trend, every big TikToker, obviously the people that I followed. Now, oh, am I in a different galaxy? Every other video I watch on TikTok, like today for example, go on TikTok and every third video is, I go, hi, my name is so and so, I just quit my corporate job and I'm following my dreams. I saw there's a TikTok trend where this guy goes and he's like, yeah, the job market is so saturated. The job market, he said something along the lines of like it being like rotten or like worth nothing, that he decided to follow his dreams instead. And I was like, dang, like, did I change? Did social media change? What changed here?
Did
Because
the world change?
I straight up remember it being, my sister calls it brain rot. It was like complete brain rot material where it's like the modern people looking for attention, essentially, was like the general gist. And like when people listen to this, they'll understand like that there's, what that really entails is like people half naked dancing and like people doing the most outrageous things in public to get attention, essentially. But then now when I go on TikTok, it's like people, and this is something I envisioned for like my own community, would be people who could sit, push play on a camera, and they essentially are able to have a train of thought where they don't have to edit any of the video. It's a one take, completely uncut, super raw. And like that's all the content that I see. Like my entire explore page on TikTok, ever since coming back, has been people who are essentially expressing what's in their heart. And what I've also noticed is that those people are very artistic and very creative. before, I'd see a lot of people who were on the like, oh, I want to be rich and famous. I want to have a bunch of money. Let's go do this business and have this company so that I can go and take this trip and have that car. And then I think you posted a TikTok that was like, I almost forgot that this was the whole point.
Mm-hmm.
And there's another trend where they have like a number, and it's like number of problems, or like it'll be like 100 problems, and then like as the camera pans to like the landscape, it like goes closer to zero. And like that's all I see on my like feed. I did the same thing with Instagram too. I was completely off of Instagram for a whole year. And if anyone's listening to this and they're like, oh, I want to do that, then do it. It changed my life, 100%. You have such a different reason to like even be on social media once you realize that the whole reason why you're on social media is to share what you think is awesome. Like that's, anytime I've ever watched The Social Network, I realized that that was the whole point of social media. It was, oh, I met someone at a bar. They happened to be from Copenhagen. Outside the fact that I could text them, email them, send them a postcard, send them a whole folder full of like the art that I create or the photos that we have together. I could also email them, or you know what, I could post them on Facebook, because if it just so happened to be that on that same night I met someone that was from Argentina, two people from two different parts of the world could see the same thing at their own free time. Like that's what social media exists for. And it essentially took me a whole year to realize that, because like in college, for example, I helped one of my friends become the manager at the local Urban Outfitters.
Mm-hmm.
They were a model. They had this band had a collab, or they had their shirts at Urban Outfitters. And they posted the guy, like the photos that I had taken of him were posted. And even thinking back then what TikTok was and how it was presented to people was like it honestly, now to like be really serious about it, it basically was the new version of the radio. Because the reason why the radio is even a thing is so that the people who make money off of those songs being played have a place to play those songs so that they can make money off the music being played. Then I realized like, oh, these popular songs, like they would typically be on the radio. But because there's billions of people who aren't listening to the radio anymore, they have to put it on a TikTok. And then I realized like, oh wait, the whole reason why social media exists is so that people can connect with each other. The real idea isn't necessarily to influence anybody. It's just to like express yourself in the purest form possible. But then what I also found out was that on social media, it's so funny, the way that people can create like a completely new side character and just be a totally different person they are in real life. And it's like, here's where the epiphany comes in. We're so much more influential in real life than on like anywhere on like social media.
Mm-hmm.
Like you doing this whole crocheting thing. My idea is that our interactions are so much more pure when there isn't a camera involved, or when it's like a completely unscripted thing. Like I can imagine how someone is portrayed. Like imagine walking into a store that you, like imagine Aussie Republic, right? You're the manager, you're sitting there getting ready to take someone's order, someone walks in through the door, and they have a camera pointed at themselves. I mean, I would assume that some people just kind of don't care and they treat the person normally and regularly. But then when someone walks in there and they have a camera, it's like, oh, is this person a blogger? How many followers do they have? Am I about to become famous? Do you know who Dave Portnoy is?
Mm-hmm.
When Dave Portnoy shows up to some random pizza spot, they showed up to a random pizza spot in Miami, and Dave really liked the pizza, and he told the owner to his face, he's like, I hope that you can handle this. Because like Dave knew he was going to make the guy a millionaire overnight.
Mm-hmm.
And just yesterday I saw that the pizza place, they said, we're not going to change anything we do. If anything, we're going to sell out faster, and that's not our problem. That's all we're going to offer. A certain amount of pizzas per day.
Yeah.
There's a pizza place like that in Costa Mesa if you ever wanted to try it.
Which place?
It's called Folks, Folks, Folks Pizza. Really good sourdough pizza. But they're very much on the side of like, okay, we only have this many pizzas, and the second we sell out, it's done.
Mm-hmm.
My favorite part about that place is the sauce. Boy, is that a good sauce.
I'll have to check it out.
It's a kind of like a bigger personal pizza. I think every pizza has 4 slices, but yeah, when I think of like a premium pizza, that's a kind of pizza where you take anybody and everyone's happy.
Mm-hmm.
How we doing?
We finished up here on the farm. I am like a tomato. There's so much with this vlogging stuff that I love because the contrast feels good. Thank you, Brown Weathers. I know now what I can record next time, which means that it's going to happen. I'm going to be offered that opportunity once more. And then I can comfortably sit here knowing that in that future moment, I'll have that opportunity to take advantage of, because now I have new stimulus. Experience even. This vlog stuff's so fun. Woo!